Hello, my lovely ladies.
Hey! Hey! How y'all doing?
I know it's been a long time coming. I haven't sat down with you guys in almost a year, and so much has changed in my life, and I finally feel like I'm in a place where I can get back into, being with you ladies, chatting it up, helping you, your one-on-one coaching, all of that good stuff that I absolutely love doing and connecting with you ladies. So I'm back. And hopefully, I can stay consistent with all of the new things going on in my life. So I just wanted to come on here. If you can see by the title, so much has changed, and I just want to update you guys on my life. All right. So, number one thing, the biggest thing that changed in my life is I am now a mother. I'm a mom, a mommy, a mamacita, okay? Some of you guys know, who's been here for a while, know that I always wanted to be a mother. This is, all part of my plan. And this year in February, we welcomed a baby boy into this world. He's absolutely beautiful, and I love him so much. So we'll backtrack a little bit just so I could just give you guys a full update of what has been going on in my life. So last May, so in 2025, May of 2025, I found out that I was pregnant, and this was the greatest news that I could hear, because after 2 years of marriage, me and my husband had already decided, even before we got married, like that was going to be our plan. Like after 2 years of being married, that we were going to attempt to get pregnant, and that was just the plan. And we spent the 2 years of marriage traveling, enjoying one another, just being us, and kind of selfish, having fun, the same thing like all couples kind of do. That's what we did for the good part of actually about 3 years, because we were together for like a year and a half before that. And ever since we were together, like I think 2 weeks into the relationship, we were traveling together. So we always travel together. And once we hit 2 years, we were like, okay, we're gonna start trying for a baby. That's the plan. That's what we want. And 2 months after our anniversary, which is in March, I got pregnant, and that was so amazing. It was so great. I had a fairly easy pregnancy. It was really, really, the best thing ever. I loved being pregnant. I think towards the end it got, like, okay, now you're ready for the baby to come out because now you're bigger. But the whole thing was really great, and just having my support system and my family and my husband, it was really lovely. And we didn't find out the gender of our baby until he was born. So that was really fun and exciting, like through the baby shower and everything, like people were guessing, like, what do you think she's having? A lot of people guessed right. Some people knew that I really wanted a girl, so they were like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a girl, But in my heart, I kind of knew it was gonna be a boy. Just, a mother kind of knows, but I was just pushing it out of my mind, because I was like, wait, hold on, I don't know if I want a boy. But after having him, I'm so blessed. He's amazing, he's healthy, he's beautiful, and I love being his mom. So that is a blessing. And before we actually had him, which was this February, we actually moved. So you guys can tell by the different background, we bought another house and we moved in December. So while I was pregnant in my 3rd trimester, we actually moved into a new house, which some people may say is a lot, because I think the saying is like you either move like 6 months before the baby or 6 months after the baby. But for us, it was just like, all right, like this is when we're gonna move, and it was a good time to buy, and we found the house that we were absolutely in love with. So we ended up moving in the end of my pregnancy. So that was actually really nice. I mean, I don't really understand why people say like don't do it, because like you're gonna hire movers, you're gonna like have people helping you. So honestly, moving wasn't that bad, just because a lot of like the furniture we, bought, because I redecorated everything. Like we only took a couple of pieces from our old home, and now being in this new home, I just was like, okay, we're gonna buy all new furniture, and obviously I was nesting at the time, so I was like, okay, things have to look a certain way and everything like that. So that was really nice, moving before the year ended. And then we had my son, and that was the greatest blessing. And I learned so much, and that's really why I wanted to come on here. And the next month after that, it was our 3-year anniversary. So that was also very special, because you guys know, if you know, I love threes. So 369, we all know the meaning of that. If you don't, just look it up. But yeah, that was really significant and great. And it's just been truly amazing. Motherhood has really taught me a lot, and I have so much more clarity on what it is to be a woman, what it is to be in like true goddess energy, and also what it is to be a wife and a mother. So I think that these topics are things that I don't think that I've spoken about, and if I have, it's been very vague, because I wasn't going through that. I had really no idea on what motherhood would look like, other than the other experiences of my sister and family and friends and stuff like that. But I didn't know what motherhood would look like for me, because honestly, like I lived so much of my life, I mean in my 20s, before I even got married, it was mostly about me, right? I was thinking about me and what I have going on with myself. What am I gonna do next? Where am I gonna go to next? And then when I got married, then it was just like, oh, it's me, my husband, and then we're kind of like on the same page, like, okay, what are we gonna do next with all this stuff? And then now it's more like all about my son, where I'm thinking about him and thinking about, how are we going to raise him and what that's going to look like, and our schedules and routines, and how we're gonna fit in the things that we want to do. And now that he is about 19 weeks, so he's about 4 months, now I feel like I kind of got the hang of it, right? Because routines change and things change all the time, but I've kind of found my groove in all of it. And it's been it's been really, I've been very, very fortunate, because I have so much support. I have so much help. I have my husband, obviously, but I have my mother, I have my sister, I have like real help, real support. And it's been such a blessing. Like I honestly commend any woman who is doing this by herself, because it is so hard. And I feel like for me, it's not hard, because I have a support system, because I have people, around and there for me. And my mom has been incredible, and she's been staying with us and helping us. And it's so crazy. Like if she goes back home and like it's just me and the baby, I'm like, okay, like when am I gonna take a bath? When am I gonna take a shower? When am I gonna eat? When am I gonna do this? Because it's like your life is surrounded the baby, but now that I have help, that I have her there, it's like, okay, you'll take the baby, I'll go, get ready, go to the gym, do whatever I want to do, go shopping, go do this. If I'm gonna take him, then that's one thing, but like if I want to go and just kind of do it myself, then I have my mom there to like really help. I have my sister, I have my husband, but he is like working and stuff like that, so he's not always there. And then there's been times where it's just me and him, and we're with the baby, and we're like, oh my god, like we actually need another person to help us, because it's like we're trying to like do too much, and because we're so used to like doing things where we're just extremely blessed that we have family to help, and that they're close, and that my mom has been an amazing grandmother to our child, and his parents has been there. I mean, there has been times where I felt like there is no way that I would be able to do this if I didn't have the people that I have in my life and the family that I have. So, shout out to them, shout out to family. And I honestly think for anybody, all you women who are out there who don't have children yet and want children someday, or if you don't know if you want children someday, I'm gonna tell you this straight up. The worst thing you can do for yourself is have a child without any help, without any support. And when I see women who are having children, with men that they're dating, or, men that they barely even know, or, men who aren't really super committed, that is hard. That is very, very hard, and I really wouldn't wish that on anybody, because you really do need that partnership to be strong so you guys can get through raising a child together. And you need both parents, but also aside from just parents, you actually need help. You need a nanny, or you need a night nurse, or you need a family member. You need somebody who's going to help you guys, because just the two of you is not enough. I mean, it's better than one, but it's not enough. And I'm learning that. I'm seeing like, oh my God, just me and him would not have been able to do it as smoothly as we have been doing it. And I know that's not everybody's story, but you ladies know, like, I just want to give you the best information possible. A lot of you ladies who watch me, you want to get married, you want to start a family, you want to do all of that. I am telling you, if you do not marry a man who is financially stable, who cares about your well-being, who wants you to be happy, who loves you and cherishes you and looks at you as, the prize, and someone who he, loves and wants to give the world to, if he is not able to support you through postpartum and is not able to really step up financially and give you all of the things that you may need, whether that is massages or going to the chiropractor, like I did that during my pregnancy. I had a lot of chiropractor sessions, I had massages, and coming out of the hospital, like making sure that like my house was nice and everything was like perfect. Those are the kind of things that I feel like a husband needs to be in that supporting role. And if he's like, hey, you know what, my wife needs help, she is going through postpartum, I don't want her to be stressed out, I don't want her to, be handling this on her own, and I can't handle all of this because I do still have to work and do all of these things, then I'm going to get her nanny, or I have the budget where I can like have a family member come and help. Those things are important, and I think that we think that they're not because maybe our parents didn't have that. But in reality, if we think about ancient times or just years ago, we can think about how women had other women around them. Nobody was raising their child alone, right? It wasn't just her and her husband raising the child. It was her and all of the women in the community who were raising their children together, and they were there supporting one another. So I think it's very important that you do have a community before you even try to get pregnant, or that you even, go down that road with a guy, because I really couldn't imagine going through pregnancy, labor, delivery, and all of that stuff to a man that I wasn't married to. And I know some people may, feel like that's an attack that I'm saying that, but I feel like this is important because what we go through as women when we give birth is so serious. It's so intense. It's on your body. It's you're creating life. You are the creator. You are building limbs. You are building organs. You are doing all of this within you. You are creating another human being, and you are bringing that human being into this world. If you are doing that with somebody's DNA that does not care about you, does not care about this child, does not care, whether this relationship is going to last, please don't do it. Please do not do it. I need you ladies to think like goddesses. I need you to think like you are in your full womanhood, and understand when I say this, no man is worth that kind of experience unless he has made a full commitment to you. And I 1000 believe that. I believed it before, but after going through it myself, I can say 100%. If the guy is not 100% committed to you, and he has shown up as a provider, as a lover, as a friend, as a companion, as a protector, as someone who has your best interest, as someone who's going to be there for you and be there for your family, is interested in you and interested in the family and interested in having the life that you guys want together, I would not recommend having a child. 1000%. Unless there's always, unless you are at the point in your life where you're like, you know what, I have the funds and I have a village and I'm going to do this. It doesn't even matter about the man. I just want a child. That's a completely different conversation. But for you ladies who do want, the husband and the life and all of that stuff, please wait for the man who is truly right for you, not the man who you think like, oh, well, he has money and maybe I should just do it with him. Because if you think like child support is enough, because if you guys, end up not working out and you think child support is enough, let me let you know this now. It's not. And the bond that my husband has with our son, it is beautiful to see. And I look at it and I'm just like, you know what? Yeah. That's the only way, especially because I'm obviously raising a boy. He's going to need a father, right? And he's going to need his father. And I'm just grateful that, and I'm going to keep saying this, I am just super grateful, but I do want you ladies to know, like, this is no joke. This is the most permanent decision you can ever make in your life, is having a child. And if you do have a child, you want to make sure that you can take care of that baby, because that is so important. It's the most important thing. You're bringing life into this world. You're raising the next generation. What you do sets them up. And when you think about it, as a woman, as a parent, I think about, I want my child to surpass me. Me and my husband, we're going to set up our kids, but we want our kids to surpass us in all different ways. I want them to surpass us financially. I want them to surpass us emotionally. I want them to surpass us intellectually. I want them to surpass us, spiritually, especially. So I have to be on my A game so I can bring in a great man into this world, right? So I can make sure that I'm doing my part and having my son be a man that I could be proud of. So I think that, with the support and everything, that is like the biggest thing that I've learned in this whole process is you have to be sure of this whole situation. And I feel like so many people, a lot of the time, I'm not even talking about teen pregnancies. If you're young, you really don't even know what you're signing up for. But if you're a grown woman, right, in your late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, and all that, 40s even, you want to make sure that you're with a person who, one, you're gonna, their DNA is good. Like, you don't want somebody who has, mental health issues, or someone who just can go from 0 to 100 on you real quick, and you're in a mess up situation. You want somebody who is stable. You want someone who is going to be good for you, who's going to be good for your child, who's going to be a good influence. And I think a lot of the time women get so caught up in just like wanting something that they settle for anything and end up in a bad situation, because us women, we know who people are. And I always talk about this. It's all about tapping into who you are and being real with yourself and being honest with yourself and saying to yourself, hey, this is cool, but this is not my man. This is not my husband. This is not the person for me. And that's okay. Instead of saying, oh my God, this is a great guy and I want him to be my husband. He can be a great guy and still not be the man for you. And I think that's hard sometimes for people to comprehend. I feel like sometimes people think like if a person is good, that means they're good for you. And that's just not the case, because you have to find your right match, especially if you're going to reproduce with them. You need to find the right person for that, and you need to be sure about that decision. So I do 100% think that if you ladies are in a relationship or you're in dating or something like that, please don't have these guys' babies, okay? And I'm telling you that as a mother, do not have these men's babies. They don't deserve it until they deserve it. And what I mean by they deserve it, they have shown up for you. They committed to you in all ways, legally, spiritually, in all of the ways. They have proven themselves to be a good provider, because you are not able to work during this time. And if you have to, that is also very sad. Like I've seen, women going back to work at, 6 weeks. And I'm like, I couldn't imagine going to work at 6 weeks. I couldn't imagine working pregnant. Like these are things that I think about, and I'm like, how's that okay? How is that fine? How are the men in their life okay with that? And I feel like that's something that women have now just have to deal with and take. And it's just not right to be separated from your child at 6 weeks. And I think that businesses and people that work for other people, they should be offering you way more than that. I mean, a little insight on my life. For when I was pregnant, towards the end of my pregnancy, I was able to take off of work because I am employed in my husband's business. And we did this for a number of reasons. I think I spoke about this before, but my husband owns his own business. He employed me in his business, so then that way he would be giving me, an allowance, but it would be like a paycheck for him. So then that way I would be paying into the system, paying taxes, having a 401k, doing all of the things, but I don't necessarily have to like work 40 hours, you know what I mean? But it's just, financially it's a good idea just to make sure that I, down the line as I get older, that I reap all of the benefits. And so at the end of my pregnancy, I was able to go, I don't remember how many weeks I was, but it was like in the 3rd trimester, I was able to go on disability because obviously I've been paying into the system. So I was able to get paid while I was pregnant. And after that was done and the baby was here and all that stuff, I was able to get paid leave as well, and was getting paid through the system. So that's a whole other thing, but I think that is something to attest to the type of husband that I have, is that he's thinking about these things. Obviously he's an attorney, so he's thinking about them a little bit deeper maybe than the average person. But I think that it's important that you're with a man who is thinking about these things, who has a plan for you guys, who has an estate plan for you guys. I mean, we've already had our estate and trust and everything set up before we had a child, but now that we have a baby, we need to re-update that and do all of the proper things, and making sure our family is set up, is good. And again, I'm married to an attorney, so he's going to be a little more serious about those things. But most of you ladies need to know, like, if you're gonna be married to a man, you wanna make sure that he's serious, that he knows what he's talking about, that he has all of the paperwork, that he showed you all of the paperwork before you even lay down and think about having a baby with him. Because if he is not set up in his life and ready to set you up in your life as well, I wouldn't even think about it. It wouldn't even cross my mind, okay? So I do think that it's important for us women to, let each other know these things and have these real conversations, because I think so many times, people get caught up in the love and the happiness and all of that stuff and like, oh my God, it's so exciting to be a mother. But it's also real, and you need to make sure that you got yourself a good deal out of it. And that can only happen if you have a good support system, a good partner, a good life, really, or it's going to be hard. And I speak about this with my husband all the time, and I said, like, there's a lot of changes, there's some work to parenthood and all this stuff, but it's not hard. It's not hard. Like, I don't look at my marriage as hard. I don't look at being a mother as being hard, but that's because I have my life set up in a way that is comfortable for me. Having my mother there who is supporting me, who's basically just helping me raise my child, is amazing. Having my sister who is not too far away helping me and being there, and my in-laws are not too far away from me helping me and being there. We have international family who are always there, all of my family that support me, all of our friends and all of those things. Like, that is so important that I don't get stressed out, because postpartum is real. Like, there are some times where I feel, overwhelmed, and I could just be like, hey, Mom, here, you take them, right? Like, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to go have dinner, or I'm going to go do something else. Or, me and my husband need to go do something, and it's just like, okay, he's fine. He's with my mom, right? He's safe. He's with my sister. He's with my in-laws. He's fine. He's safe. And that having that is so good. And also the financial aspect of it is like, you sitting there on Amazon and you want to buy your baby everything, right? And I couldn't imagine being limited to what I can get my child and what I can't get them, right? And all of the things that he needs, I'm able to provide for him because I chose somebody who set us up and makes us feel comfortable that, we can get the things that we need and that the things that we want, and everybody can be happy. And I don't want to make this like, oh, this is what I have kind of thing, but I want you ladies who are not there in your life, that when you get there, you're choosing the right partner. You're just not choosing someone because you really, really love them. It has to be more than that. It has to be financially sound. It has to make sense. This person also has to love you. They have to really want to be there for you. They want to actually have a family with you, because it truly needs to all blend together, like all of it. I was telling my husband, like, I am so grateful that everything I manifested the way that it did, down to our house and, our child, and just everything that we have going on. And I'm honestly grateful. And I want to help you ladies with that, right? Because I am here to help. I am here to help guide you ladies. And I want to make sure that women are making the right decisions. And if you're here listening to something like this and you take this kind of content, then you're already serious about your life and you're already serious about relationships. Do not, shoot yourself in the foot and do something that is going to mess with your life and your dreams permanently. So that's what I say, children are a blessing, but you have to have it with the right person. And also you have to be in the proper state mentally, physically, emotionally to have children, because if you are like depressed and all of that stuff, it's only going to compound once you have children, once you have a child and go into postpartum. It's only going to get worse. Okay. So you want to make sure that you are really like locked in on self, and that you're confident in yourself, and that you listening to yourself, and you're actually tuning into your highest frequency, so then you can see who people truly are, who this man is. Is he truly husband material? Is he truly father material? And if he's not, then you don't have to date them with that intention. I'm not telling you don't date any guy that you won't marry. No, date whoever you want, right? I dated men that I didn't marry, right? And then had no intentions on marrying. That's fine. But when it comes to marriage, don't just marry someone who asks. You need to marry someone who is actually going to be a good husband, good father, good provider, a good man, and all of those things. So I definitely feel like I spoke a lot, and I think I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to say. And again, we're just getting into the hang of things. My son is only almost 4.5 months old. So, we're still in the beginning trenches of it. And I really feel like everything has gotten better in my life. We're just now kind of getting back into the swing of like traveling again, which I'm excited for. We're actually going on a little road trip with the baby next week. So that's going to be really fun. And it's actually really different because my husband and I always travel together. We've never been anywhere without one another. Like since we've been together, we've always traveled together. And when I first had the baby, he actually had to do a trip, and I couldn't go because I had the baby. And I'm like, hey, me and the baby's not going on a plane together, and the baby's not gonna stay anywhere without me, and I'm breastfeeding and all this stuff. So he had to go without me, but it was really weird to say the least, but it was only for a couple of days, and it was just going to pick up my niece from college and move her out of her dorm. And so him and my sister went out and did that, and they came back. So that was a little different, doing things in that kind of way. And also just not having my own schedule, not being able to go to the gym the way that I want to, not being able to just get up and go shopping or, go and get something to eat. I have to like pack up the baby and do the whole thing or make sure he has enough milk if I'm not going to be home in 2 hours, but it's all, a learning curve, and I'm grateful that I even have that experience. And I'm really excited that I can come back on here and really give you guys better information, more expertise on relationships, because I feel like I've reached another level just being a mother, and what marriage looks like with parenthood, right? With motherhood, what does wifehood look like now, and what that really is. And I think it's important. I do want to state this. I've been a stay-at-home wife for forever. Now I'm a stay-at-home mother. And I think it's very, very important that the way that I have it set up, right, with my husband and how he has it set up, that I, get a paycheck and all this stuff, just so, if anything, my work history is still there, and, I'm continually paying into a 401k and continuously, paying into the system and everything like that. That matters. And I think that people think that, if you stay at home, then you're giving up all of the benefits that you may need down the line. And if you're with a man who owns his own company, because this can obviously only work if he owns the company, and have that conversation where it's like, hey, I want to be put on payroll. Like, I want to be put in this situation, and I don't want to work, but I need to be put on payroll, and I need to be, compensated, because I need that history there. And it's going to be important for even him, especially if you get pregnant. Now, I live in California, so I don't know if the laws apply the same way in every state, but for us, you get disability, then you get paid leave, and that's for the mother and father. So not the disability part, being pregnant, because obviously the man's not going to get pregnant, but after you get off of the disability of pregnancy, then you get to do the paid leave bonding time with your baby. So I think that's important. And if he did not set it up the way he did, having me be an employee of the business, then that would not have happened. So, you know, I'm just putting that out there for you ladies. I know there's a little more information that I even share usually, but I think it's important that I let you guys know these things just so you're strategically, you know, aware of these things and aware of like how your life can look, because there are so many women who are online and saying like, my husband gives me $80 a week for an allowance. And I'm like, oh my God, like, why would you take that? Like, why would that be acceptable? Like, you're not a child, you're a grown woman, you need more than 80 bucks. And yeah, so I definitely think that when you're choosing a man and you're choosing to stay at home and do all of that, you still need to have money, you still need to have income. Obviously, doing things like this, social media, I have my own business, I do coaching for you ladies. If you ever want any one-on-one coaching, my information is in the description. And also, if you want to do my course, The Feminine Way to Date Online, that is also in the description. You know, all of those things I do, but they're not the primary source of income for me, right? Though that's really just like roll dough. That's what my husband will say. It's like not enough to like support, you know, my whole family or anything like that. But, you know, I do it because I'm passionate about it and I genuinely love talking to you ladies, and I love, you know, talking about relationships and ways that women can really hone in on their femininity and the divine goddess and really lock in on the things that they want in life, because it really is your life and whatever you want. And what I've learned so much is that as long as you know what you want and you're locked in, it's already yours. It is already yours. And so with that being said, I hope to see you guys so much more. Thank you so much for the ladies who reached out to me and telling me you missed me. Some of my clients, you guys that I, you know, did have sessions with when I was pregnant, that knew I was pregnant. Thank you so much for, you know, supporting me and you know, your well wishes. And I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy that I get to connect with you ladies again, and I have even more information for you. So thank you so much for watching, and watch all my videos if you can, okay? I will be back as soon as possible, possibly next week, hopefully. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Bye.